Knitting magic loop is a little bit of magic, but it's really easy to do. You can use it to knit a tube of knitting where you can't see any joins. You need a long circular. I'm knitting a sock here at the moment, but I'm going to show you how to do magic loop knitting. When you're knitting magic loop knitting, you need to have a long circular. The longer the circular is, the easier it is to do the technique. To get started, you need to have your stitches cast onto your needle. If you'd like to know how I cast on, then please look at my Learning to Knit playlist. With the stitches I've got on here, I now need to separate them half and half. I've got 40 stitches, so 5, 10, 15, 20. That's where I want to separate them. And what I do now is pull the wire in between those stitches, like so. So the stitches are now on the two needles, half and half, making sure they're not twisted. And I've got the working yarn at the back. Now what I need to do is I'm going to knit on these stitches on the front first of all. So to do that, we'll bring the back needle through. Ensure that there's a loop going on here. Make sure the needle goes underneath this yarn, because I want the working yarn to be at the back. And then we can knit the first stitches on this front needle. A bit of a fight at first. It feels a bit awkward, but it does get easier, I promise. I'm going to pull that first stitch fairly tight and then work along this first row. You can see there's 2 loops here. Working across the row, and then when we get to the end, that's the last stitch there, we then need to swap everything around. So this needle now goes to the back, working yarn at the back, and the other needle we can feed through the wire. So now we're in the same situation again. The back needle needs to come through so we can work with it, and we've got a loop on this side. The working yarn going towards the back. And we'll knit this row, and this first stitch, I'll make sure it's got a bit of tension on there. If you don't put a bit of tension on there, that's when you can find that you gain a bit of a ladder effect in your knitted work. So I'm working my way across, pushing that front needle through. It's always a bit tight at first. It does get easier. There we go. Can see a bit of a loop there, but once I've created a few more rows, that'll blend in, and then I can always use the tail that I cast on with to tighten that up afterwards. So the back needle comes through, the front needle, get all the stitches there, ready to knit the next row. The working yarn at the back, you can see I've twisted it there. Let's get with it, there we go. So working yarn at the back, and then we can knit this row again. And again, I'm going to put a bit of tension on this to hopefully not have that loose piece of yarn there. So again at the end, turn everything around. I'm going to pull this through a bit because those stitches are close to the end. There we go. Thread this front needle through, working yarn to the back, pull the back needle through, have a loop on this side, put the needle in ready, grab my working yarn, and again knit across, pulling that first stitch a little bit tighter. And when you work this way, doing all knit, 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 there's no purling, we're just going around and around, but it does create stocking or stockinette stitch. To the end, turn round. I do generally pull this one through a little bit first just to make sure those stitches are secure and safe before pushing this through. It's looking a bit better there. So you continue going around and around. I'll work a little bit more and then I can show you what the sides look like. And all being well, there'll be no join to see. So I've worked a little bit more of this and then I can show you the sides and see where there's no joins, she says. So this is that end there, and you can see there's no ladder or anything. The stitches are nice and uniform. And if I go to the other side, which is where the start was, all these wires in the way. There we are. So you can see there again, it's nice and uniform. There's no ladder effect going on. If you don't pull that first stitch a bit tighter, that's where you can get loopy ladders. And if you recall on the first row, there was a loop there, which is this one here, just really difficult on the first stitch. But what I would do with this, I'd use the tail that I cast on with to stitch that in and disguise that, and then nobody would know. Thank you for watching, and please look at my playlist for other knitting tutorials. See you soon.